Okay, so today on Alpha our guest needs no introduction. It's Kevin Bosu or Bosu Kevin from Finalbosu. It's a little mint that happened recently and basically blew the doors off the space. I want to start off by just saying I'm going to compliment Kevin off the bat and a little bit about myself. I've been in the space since 2019. I've worked on 28 different Web3 initiatives, over 500 million in direct mint revenue without royalties. And I have to say that this project has just completely taken the space by storm. Now, since 2020, 2021, since Suzuki was launched, right? Every anime project was the next Suzuki, and it was always bullshit. The closest thing was Valhalla. I'm not going to call this the next Suzuki. This is probably the next premier Web3 brand, in my opinion. The art is outstanding. The team has taken every single approach. I work in marketing and strategy, right? So the heavy community, every single angle they worked on. So they must have worked on this for years, and it has blown the doors off everything. When the reveal happens, I expect this thing to go to the moon. And there are things that we don't even know about. So let's dive in with Kevin, talk to him about everything that hasn't been spoken about.
Yeah, right on. Welcome,
Let's
Kev.
go, guys. Yeah, appreciate y'all.
How you feeling, man? You're on the other side of the live min here. You feeling good? You feeling excited? How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Sometimes you're working so long towards a certain point. When you finally reached it, for a moment you feel depressed and you're like, I need to fine tune to this next stage again. But I feel great, man. I feel grateful, just all the love on the timeline. It's just been incredible and overwhelming, to be honest. And yeah, I'm just ready for this next phase of just been so excited about this as well for the longest time. So sometimes the people on the Discord are like, when? I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like I'm probably more excited than anyone else, right? I'm the biggest fan here, not you guys.
Yeah, right on, man. No, I love it. I love to see a project get to this point. You guys have been planning this for years and you've launched it. It's minute out and you're ready to take those next steps. And it's just, I'm so happy to see that any project get to this point and actually succeed in that first step of the goal. So first, congratulations. And just thank you for taking the time here so close to the public, man, to talk with us and share with the audience. EJR, I know we want to dig into the whole process, the whole journey here, right? We do things a little bit differently. We're not just, oh, what's next? What's the hype? What's the alpha? But we want to know, like, how did you do this? How did you and your team build this over the last now, what, 2.5, 3 years almost you guys have been at it, right? EJR, take us, like, how do we want
Yeah.
to dig into this and find out about this
So
process?
strategically, you hit every area, right? You go in the Discord and there's this huge environment of this community and all these different activities in this process. Now, that's not for everyone, but it's very important. So the Mint strategically hit every single pinpoint of being perfectly accurate in terms of what a Web3 project needs to be. How much process went through that? Because there's not many projects that hit every single ding that you need to hit to do it right.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's one of the most important parts, actually. And I got to say, like, we've released our first collection on ETH a little over 3 years ago. So that gave us a good first experience. And maybe just for viewers that haven't ever heard the story, but 3 years ago when we started, we had a completely different view of vision. And so we definitely pivoted and made sure that we figured out like what's going to be best for our holders and for this brand to become sustainable. And so initially we had a whole different direction. And then I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we started really focusing on the anime side of brand, designing characters and exploring different options until we're here today. But I think that because sometimes I get asked, what's the biggest lessons or how do you do this? And I really think, and it might sound very obvious, but it's really almost like a mindset of trying to literally think of every single thing. And every time that you thought of everything, there's more to think about. And you need to push yourself by not getting complacent. And I must say, like, without my brothers, I couldn't have done this. I work on this with my two older brothers, and they're just incredible in art and design. And everything that you see online is created by them. And specifically my oldest brother, who's actually our creative director and artist. So he designs the characters. Together they write the script. So it's really their work that I'm screaming off the roof. I'm just here speaking to people about it. But I think also that's what gives me the edge because I'm the biggest fan of my brothers. I look up to them. I think they're incredible. And so it's a very easy job for me to just scream it off the roofs. And I'm happy that we're a bit on the older side, right? Like I'm 34, my Other brother's 38 or 39, I don't even know. The other one is over 40s. And so we've had a bit of life experience behind us. We've built different businesses before. I actually had a marketing agency where I would literally do all these things. And so it was normal for me to have an onboarding process and to educate people when they get into your place. And yeah, it even was when I was booking the mint party the other day. I was like a week and a half ago, oh, we need to have a mint party. And so I spoke to Invincible, who did our spaces, and I want to do the mint party. But if we do it, I want it to be a good mint party. And we need big guests, because big guests will associate us as elevating our status, right? And so I need to get at least Luca. We need to get at least like a bigger brand of Web3. And so Pixelmon showed up. And it's really pushing yourself, because you can just organize a mint space. But if you want to do it really well, you have to try to think of everything, because it's a bit of mindset.
I don't think in the past 2 months I haven't seen you on a space every time I look at my feed, which is insane. And then also when you agreed to do the show the day after the mint, I've done mints before, and I'm like, the day after the mint, so much is going on. So like, you are a workhorse and a beast, and that is a real compliment, because there's so much going on behind the scenes after mint. And, and back to strategy, there was a mechanic to stop people from botting, to protect the supply. When you talk about doing this with your brothers, now it's making more sense to me in terms of how much love went into this, how much passion, because you really protected the shit out of it. And it's a true testament to what this space is about. And you have so much support from the community. There's groups I'm in with the biggest people in Web3 in them, and they're just so happy they got them. We bought from secondary, we minted pre-mint. You didn't even show many previews. It was really just flawless. And there were a couple days where there was some FUD, and those people are all completely silent now. 6-minute abs, you sold out in 6 minutes. So it's hilarious, but I don't think you're going to tell us when the reveal is, right? But there are rares in the collection. Can you tell us that?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it was very interesting, because we took quite a different approach with our minting strategy, right? And I'm a big fan of first principle thinking that Elon Musk often speaks about. And if you actually look at the mint process as they usually happen, and then you look as well at where the space is currently at, you want to mitigate the risk as much as you can and make sure that you set yourself up for success. And just sticking to what has worked so far, I think, is never a good idea. If you really look at the processes, you actually find a lot of flaws in there, right? For example, a very simple one is, and I'm happy it turned out now, afterwards I can speak about it, is we had a whitelist planned initially before the public. And when we looked at it, we're like, why is the whitelist phase actually there? It slows down momentum. People are like, whitelist, and they're all gonna watch, like, how is this whitelist going? Is it going well or not? And you don't really know up front, right? Is everybody gonna mint? You hope so. So why is it there? So yeah, why don't we just remove it completely? And so we did. And I knew, like, we had this trailer in our back pocket to create a lot of attention, because I just knew how good it was. So I just knew if we just have one big public mint, we release the trailer before, and we bring all the attention to that specific moment, we can create it. I remember back in 2021, those mints, and those were crazy times, right? Those were times when you paid $200 in gas fees, so you were still clicking like crazy. You were still trying to get in. You just knew you would lose your money, and you were still doing it. Those were crazy times.
People remember that. People complain about a $35 mint now. They don't remember when you could mint.
Yeah.
It was a $200 mint. You lost $1,200 trying to mint. You got shit. You know what I mean? I was there.
And then you wouldn't mint, so you'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we wanted to bring that back. And being on abstract, obviously there's no gas, so we're like, why not? Sure. But yeah, there will be definitely specials in the collection. Actually, tomorrow, through the onboarding experience, and tomorrow we're feeling some stuff, but there will be one-of-ones, and those one-of-ones actually just being created fairly fresh, I would say, based on some of the community feedback and questions I've been seeing often in Discord. And so tomorrow we'll review how that looks like, but there's a couple of them that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Nice.
The art itself, I mean, your brother's a creative genius, because I know sometimes I post stupid shit, but they don't have nostrils, so how do they pick their nose? You don't have to answer that. I was kidding. But what I'm saying is the art itself, even the position of the PFP, the aspect, how it is completely unique to the space. There's never been a profile picture that actually faces the way that these do, which is tremendous. Do you want to speak to that? Like the process of how he made it so unique and just made it like such this modernized style anime that just stands out and is so special.
Yeah, completely. You guys can hear me well now, right? Just
Oh, yeah.
move to
Yeah, you sound
Wi-Fi
great.
here. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so that angle, man, if I'm gonna do a breakdown at some point of the different variations and processes we went through to get to that specific angle. And it's a really tough one, because with trades and everything, it's really difficult to pull it off and do it well. But we initially just knew straight away, okay, if we're going to do this collection, like we want it to be something new. When you look at it, you're directly like, okay, that's different. And since our lore bases a lot around beating the ultimate final boss battles, we're like, okay, what's the ultimate anime moment? And it's always when you're just about to go to battle and you're standing there, you're looking up to the boss and you're like, okay, this is go time. And our slogan against all odds is all about action taking, fighting the odds. So once we saw the position, we're like, this is it. And initially it was a lot more turned. It was coming from the left top corner going to the right. And now when I look back at those designs, it's like super weird designs. And at some point we started shifting and twisting, and eventually we came to this specific angle. And when we saw it, we're like, yes, that's it. And yeah, then we started testing it out with community members and things like that. So yeah, it's been a very interesting and a long process to get there, basically. But yeah, I feel like we've hit it right. There's two collections actually in the space that one people have been fudding us about that has a similar one. I know we've worked longer on it, and so there's not even an idea of that we took it, but that's Jiro-san and Everai. I don't know if you guys remember the Everai collection. There was a robotic collection. It's watching upwards as well. It's not completely the same. Some people compare it and they're like, yeah, you stole it from those two collections. I'm like, yeah, okay,
There's
whatever.
always going to be people that do
Yeah,
that.
sure.
And it's not even anything because this is performing extremely well. And it's not like when we have people on, we speak very real to them, right? This has exceeded all expectations and the floor is holding incredibly well. You're only looking at 416 listed. Those are people just buying and reselling for more basically at this point. The core is holding and people are stockpiling them, which is incredible. You're in such a good place right now and I am so happy for you. So let me ask you two questions. First question is this. What was it like to launch the trailer in December when the market was fucking rocking and then see the market crash and be like, oh, we have to launch in this market? And then the second question is, with the way you finally ended up doing the sale, did good vibes inspire that a little bit, how it was elongated? Because I think it worked out perfectly for you. The success of
Yeah.
good vibes at least.
Yeah, I think that really sucked. Like the market obviously was pumping like crazy, and we're like, "This is it. This is the moment. Let's move." And then everything plummeted, and abstract didn't get the narrative we were hoping for initially. And so yeah, it was just like, okay, let's hold, let's break a little bit. We've got the community. Let's be patient, right, and focus on macro timing in a sense where we need to time it. You cannot time the perfect timing, but there is glimpses of moments where you can see, okay, sentiment is now shifting, right? Yeah, we all know the timeline. Like the one day everybody's depressed and hating NFTs, the day after everybody's loving it again, and so it's sometimes impossible to time. But I would say we found the perfect timing probably with abstract just getting that much attention, even, and that obviously we didn't even know that it would be that perfect, but yeah, it sucked. But at the same time, we've been here through the bull, through the bear, like we've consumed it all. And so I do feel that just having this initial holder base as well has been extremely good to us, because the feedback we're getting from them and the support has always been so strong that when you focus on your core community, it helps a lot, because those are the people that truly care, and that gives you a lot of strength even in times that things are down. You keep focusing on the positive. So I'm glad it worked out this way. Good Vibe was actually not an inspiration. Like we've had these phases quite a while, and to be honest, we have learned from their launch. And there was one thing that was on our minds for a while, because it's quite close to just the mint that it just happened, but we initially actually had a different public minting phase in mind, what would be more bidding or Dutch auction or that direction. And I've always liked that idea, but what I never liked about it is momentum. And I think momentum is extremely important in this space. Like people, what I said, like one thing one day, and then
Especially
the next thing
now.
they can just hate it. Yeah, especially now.
Yeah, the market's different. The meme coin meta shifted. Everything needs to move faster now, or else people dump.
Yep,
It's completely
exactly.
different.
Totally, yeah, and it's all about narrative, right? And so it's like if people like almost a group consciousness is that things are not minting out fast, the whole group starts turning against it. There's all of those elements, and so that's one thing I've always appreciated about the Azuki mints, even though there's a lot of bad talk sometimes about them. I do think they were always able to create max FOMO in the mints, and you can say whatever you say about that, but that do causes like the rush and the hype in people of, oh shit, it's happening. And I think people we all like to trill a little bit. Yeah, I think it was the right choice in the end. And what's interesting with the experience as well, like a big shout out to Scott of the team of Drip and Bearish. Like he's been our dev, he's absolutely crushed it. I mean, yeah, such a great guy in general. I don't know if you guys know him, but just awesome.
I watched him work for a long time. I'm a fan. He does a lot of good things. Yep.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. Super helpful. So yeah, he crushed it.
Yeah, and I remember that now because I remember him posting about it because you guys did have a little bit of hiccup during the pre-mint phase. And I'm curious, it's actually a good segue because I'm thinking about this. You launched your trailer in December. You got rid of the whitelist and you went into this and you said, you know what? We're not going to take the same path everybody else did. We're going to put out a good product and we're going to trust that it happens, right? But then you get to that and you had a little bit of a hiccup on that first day where it was like the first 400 minters or something like that. Got it half price or free or whatever it was. But that created some FUD right away. So that's what I was just going to ask you about is as you're going into this, you're taking your own new path and you know how the market is, you know how finicky it can be, and you're confident, but you start to hear that FUD shit talk happening and people down, you're like, how do you deal with that? And how do you stay positive? And how do you keep, as a founder and as a founding team with your brothers and the rest of your team, how do you guys keep your heads on straight and stick to the plan through that as that noise starts to creep in?
Yeah, it's a super good question, actually. If you think about, and I think it really comes down to, and it's something I'm learning a lot about lately, is most people don't know what they need. They have an idea of what they want. And I think as a founder or a leader in this position, I think you need to you need to look past it and know what your intentions are and know what the result is and really trust in yourself, right? Like you really need to place a lot of trust. Don't listen to the noise. And it's hard because I generally think that there's so many smart people in this space with such a high skill level that you can learn so much, right? So you need to find a sweet spot of who do I listen to, who do I don't listen to, and then trying to navigate that. And that can be quite tough, but at the same time, yeah, it's really a good test. And I guess it's in any business or even in life. Like maybe it's a weird comparison, but like even people just simply don't know what they need, right? We all make assumptions very fast. If you literally give a problem to a person, they're coming up with a solution like very fast, but it's not like often it's not the right solution because they have simply not defined the problem enough, right? And so I think we are the only one, like we're in this day and night, like I'm spending 14 hours a day with the team working on this. And so we know what we have, we know the direction we're taking, we see all these elements. And so you need to, look past that. And even with the pre-sale phases, I knew it was fun because the first phase especially, I just knew the first phase, we engineered it in a way where we feel like we've supported those that supported us early on by hand selecting people, giving more allocation to our initial holders. Obviously, a bit of collapse in marketing there. We kept it to the minimum because we wanted to have as many people that were educated at least about the vision, that were in our Discord, etc. And I wanted to give them their time to sell. And I kind of knew people were probably going to look at this and then, what a slow mint phase. And so I knew we needed to counter that with a faster mint phase. And so like the second phase was engineered to go a bit faster, right? And just looking at the data and things like that. In the end, it's also having trust and just trying to look past it all and to just know that at some point it's going to be proven. It's the same. Everyone's, but the public mint is so far away. But in my mind, I'm like, but I got the trailer. You guys don't know that I got the best trailer ever. I'm so pumped about this thing.
That was good.
Like, right. Once
I was brave, man.
I had to change my underwear twice after I watched it.
It's brave to stick with it though too, and I think that's commendable, and I think worth sticking with here for a second is that you had a little bit of a slower the guaranteed phase out of the gates, and I think that's what I heard too. So people are like, oh, they're going to lose their hype, they're going to mess this up, they're blah blah blah, and I heard you did hear a lot of that trash talk, but you had that in your back pocket. You had the video, right? You had the trailer, and you believed in it, and I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome to stick with it, not let the market sway you and head down that path. The one thing I wanted to ask you about all of that was when you're deciding who you should listen to and who you shouldn't, how do you, like for the would-be founders or the founders that are earlier in their journey than you and the crowd here, how do you pick who to listen to? Because it can't just be the people that say nice things about you because you'll be screwed too. So how do you pick the people who have critical feedback for you that's useful versus the people who have critical feedback for you that are not useful?
Yeah, I haven't thought even that deep about it, but when you ask it now, I realize that I think one of the main criteria I first look at is this person educated on Finalbosu? Have they ever are they in our Discord? Have they gone through the videos? Do they follow us? Can I assess if this person knows? Because if somebody actually knows, right? And then they're like, this is a terrible brand, I'm fine. But if somebody says it's a horrible brand, but they have never listened to any, even a conversation, an interview, a podcast, or watched any of the videos, I'm like, okay, you have no data at all. So you're basing this on nothing. So I usually just try to ignore that. And it's as well the feedback. I don't know if you guys have seen that post of, what's his name? I think Serine or something. He does these breakdowns and they're incredibly good. Like even on their trailer, he's this is the best trailer ever, but here's my feedback. And this for me, it's amazing. I love that. Like, this is what Tree is about for me. Give us the feedback. Like I want to improve. I genuinely want to create the best products ever, and I want to do it for the community. So if nobody's liking it, like we got to improve that stuff.
Plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
no, that's good. That's a good measure for sure. Now the videos, I just want to say too, I thought that was a really unique approach that you guys took. Just the like that initial gating of the Discord when you came in, it was like, watch the videos, we're going to tell you the story, basically force you to actually do your research a little bit and get involved here. But what I really liked about it was even when I watched the video and apparently clicked the wrong answer, I think it was one of your brothers popped in and was like, you bozo, you had one job. Listen for the right number. We'll give you another chance. And you had to go back and do it again. I loved all of that right out of the gates. It was very personable. Like we're seeing who you guys are. You're showing a little bit of your personality there, making us do a little bit of work to get involved. Tell us about the thinking of all of that too, right? Was there any fear that if you put too much, that was going to make people not come in? Or did you feel like people wanted to be in bad enough that they would jump through a few hoops and entertain you with that?
Yeah, and that's Kaido, by the way, is our community manager. Big shout out to him. He's been behind like a lot of the processes and everything in the community. Yeah, we've done like these behind the scenes videos for quite a long time in our Discord, for like over a year. Like every week, there's 1 or 2 or 3 videos coming out. Now I've stopped them during this phase, and people always loved it. And so I've had the feedback that people just generally enjoyed it. I knew that in the marketing world, I used to run like a webinar with 3 different videos. Every day you watch one, and at the end there's the pitch. And then people will be sold, and then you get lots of buyers. And this is actually, that was what I had in mind. If people coming into our Discord, and we're going to start creating a buzz, and there's a lot of traffic coming in, like how we're going to filter people down. That was just the initial process of let's filter them to an educational system, because I always feel you better create like 100, like what they always say, the same, but it's true, like 100 fans is much better than a million people that don't really... I know you, etc. And I had many people like texting me, dude, like, why do you think people will ever join your Discord? I'm never going to go through this video. So I was like, perfect, don't do it. It's fine for me. And I don't say it from a not a humble place. It's just if this is not for you, then you shouldn't get involved, right? Like it's as simple as that. It's your money, it's your time. Don't invest it if you actually don't enjoy it. Yeah, that was the mindset going into it. Giving people the spiel, there's an IP there, and we've also created so much. It will be such a waste of not highlighting. And I think the personal approach has always been important to me, because back in I used to run a marketing agency before this, and I done thousands of sales calls. And initially I would always pitch the product really hard. And then after you become a bit more experienced, you start realizing that people buy from people, and the best clients that I had really bought because they believed in me. And even if in month 1 or month 2 we didn't get the best results, in month 3 we would, and that's only because they stick to it. And I think that's the same true here. And even our largest holder, Andre Nick, from our first collection, he messaged me like a year and a half ago and was like, can I come to the island where you live? I was like, dude, like I will host you, come to my house. We spent like a couple of weeks together. He came back like 5 times and became a good friend. And I asked him one day, like, every time before he left, I was like, are you more bullish or are you bearish now on Finalbosu? And every time he would say, I'm more bullish, and then he would go home and he would buy more. And I was like, all right, even if you're in real life with me and you're becoming more bullish, I think that's a good sign, because you see how we actually work. And then I asked him, like, why are you so bullish on Finalbosu? And he said, the 3 brothers, that's it. Like, that was it. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that made me realize, guys, we'll do our best to fix stuff in week 1. But if that doesn't work, we'll make it happen in week 2 or in month 2 or in month 3. Eventually, we'll figure out. And if I can have a group of people that believe in us and give us the time and space and a bit of funding, then we're going to do our best to create something incredible. And I think that's the right mindset we need to develop as a community, to work together to create something. Because, yeah, if you have the right intentions and you keep working on something, you become better and better. Like over time, you will figure it out, right? Our first animations compared to today, like it's a world of difference. You'll laugh your asses off if you see the first ones.
Yeah, no, that's the way it should be. I love that. And that's the long-term mindset, right? We talk about this all the time. If people are, like, if you're coming in just to hype and dump a project, you don't have to give a shit about that. You don't need anyone to care about you or know who you are or know what you're trying to accomplish or buy into the mission. But for you and your team trying to build something that's real and that lasts, that stuff's incredibly important. And something that in this space, a lot of people come in and want to be an on and not share who they are. I think they're shortchanging themselves, right? EJ, we talk about this all the time. And
Yeah.
I think that's a
And
great
you
takeaway for
got to have
anyone
a face
listening.
to a project. And
Yep.
like I said, I've worked on 28 different projects, and maybe one, they were all successful, but maybe one needs to be fixed. Other than that, but you're not behind on anything. Like, you're in a perfect position where you can go from here. It's not like you need to catch up. There wasn't a mistake. And I break down everything to such a ridiculous level when I look at a project. And I spoke to people that had more than one spot, and if they had the wallet in one wallet, they actually couldn't mint it. There were so many of these just perfect strategic placements by the dev, by the team, creative. Everything's just flawless. It's almost scary. So I don't know what you have coming for us next. I know you're
Can't
not
wait
going to
though.
say reveal, but I know
I mean, you
since you
can, if you
said it
want
needs
to
to
say
move
when the reveal
faster,
is, you can.
that it's not far
That would be
away
fine.
because you can't leave it stagnant. So you don't need to respond to that, but I know it's coming soon.
Yeah, what's always it's definitely not that we want to review as soon as we can. I think it's also important. I think one of the blessings and the curse our team has is always improving stuff, and we always see things to do better. And so that's something we're even trying to downgrade a little bit on, right? Like perfection. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
execution and delivery over perfection. But there's a few things that we're working on that I'm probably going to get confirmed today. And so then I know how to take the next step that could be super bullish for the brand in general. And so I'm, getting that done and then making the decision directly on the reveal. But it's not going to be super far away for sure.
Awesome.
I
So
mean, you have
then,
the support from Luca, which was huge. He doesn't usually come on for the project so much. That's incredible. I guess
That's some things in life you can't control, and sometimes there's a lot of luck involved, I would say. And you can always work your way to increase your chances of luck and winning. But this one was crazy because I was last year in NFT Paris. I was sitting in the audience watching Luca, and I thought one day I will be there. And then the next year, so a couple months back, I was going to go to NFT Paris, and I got tickets for the community, etc. So I was already in contact with them, and I told them, like, if you have a speaking opportunity, just let me know. I'd love to be there. Yeah, we're fully booked. Like, no problem. And 2 days before, they texted me and was like, hey, we got an opportunity open. Do you want to fill it up? And I was like, yeah, sure. What is it? And they're like, you have to do a presentation. I was like, all right, 2 days, no preparation, but against all freaking odds, let's do it, right? And I arrived there, and guess who was right in front of me? Luca Netz, right? So I literally step on the stage, and Luca, what's up? I'm Kevin from Finalbosu. He was like, yo, dude, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm going to speak right
nice.
now on stage, like right after. He was just finished with Farouk. So he was like, awesome, let me hang out with you. I will stay with you on stage, right? And I was like, yeah, but I'm doing a presentation. So he said, no worries. So he grabbed the mic and was like, everybody, you have to stay. This guy is bullish. And so the kick started
That's
everything.
awesome.
So it was super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we had a convo
Hey,
after.
you get out there,
yeah.
you create the opportunity for those opportunities, right? Like, you're doing good
Yeah.
work. People know who you are, showing up at the places. Yeah, that's
Totally.
what it's all about. That's awesome. Now, you said it. I think it might be the first time I heard it today during this conversation, against all odds. Where does that come from? Is there a story behind it?
Oh yeah, completely. I've always knew I was looking for a cultural movement within the brand that fits the Web3, and I've always respected the world of women a lot because I've always felt with NFTs there's this promise, right? This is what we're gonna do, or we're taking things to the future. With women, I always felt that they've delivered on day one because it's women uniting, and if you purchase the NFT, it's done. Like, you're already doing it. And so I've always looked for this slogan or like this movement that I wanted to create. And for the longest time, we were looking for it. And actually, Finalbosu, and it's very underlying, and it's not something we push and promote hard, but we're actually a personal growth brand that's trying to make personal growth entertaining. And that's why there's all these personal growth lessons in everything that we do. And Finalbosu is the against the odds expression. Like, the whole universe is about against the odds. And so I've always knew that we wanted to find something, but we couldn't find it. And there's a couple stories. There's one, I'll do a short version of it. That's quite personal. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but I told it on stage. And it's about a man that when he was 9 years old, he got kidnapped. And he's from Indonesia, from a small town called Blitar. And he got kidnapped by his own father. And his father took him away one day to another and dropped him all the way across the sea in the Netherlands to work and to send money back home to his village. And so he did, right? 9 years old in a foreign country, doesn't speak the language. Life was difficult, going to school, going to work. And all his life, as he grew older, he started sending money back, and he built houses, he built a school, like all from his hard-earned money by sending it back. Then a couple of years ago, he got the call of the hospital that he only had a couple of days to live, right? And this man was my father. It was our father. And when he was laying on his deathbed, he whispered to us, guys, I want to go back to Indonesia. If I die, I want to die there. And he was going to die from a heart condition. It was overflowing of liquid. And so we're like, yeah, but you cannot go back now. You're going to die in 3 days, the hospital said. And so somehow, some way, I don't know, I still don't know till today how we made it, but we actually flew him back to Indonesia, and he breathed out his last breath there, and his mom was still alive, and his brother was there, and he actually passed away, got buried there. But what I think his story really tells us is that big dream that he had of going back to Indonesia one day that just got delayed all the time because of life, because of work he wanted to provide. He realized in the last moments that it was still worth fighting for. And I think that, for example, is this very strong against the odds story that everybody lives. And I think everybody has one as well. I moved to Spain. I was 18 years old. I lived on the streets and built my own agency, like out of nowhere. I think everybody has stories like this. And so I think it's very relatable and powerful.
Yeah. No, that's an incredibly powerful story. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah, no, I couldn't have hoped for something more meaningful to come out of that question. Yeah, just thank you. But that gives you something to build on and build with your brothers.
When I hear it, I think it's one of the best slogans. And not just that, it's really speaking about this entire community. The ups and downs against all odds is really what we face in this market at all times. So it works across the board, and it's really resonating with people. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Luca last week called us. He was like, guys, are you sure you're going to launch in this market? If there is a moment in time that you have the excuse to not launch, it's probably now, like with all the tariffs and everything that's going on against the odds. Let's just go.
But it's time. You go. I love it. So with that, let's talk about what you're trying to build here, because that's definitely the first I've heard of how you phrase it, the personal growth brand or first personal growth company. Is that, you say you don't talk about it too much, but like, when you look forward in the goals here, like how does that play into it, right? Because obviously you're trying to build this media empire, if you will, and build this IP and build this community. Is the goal to, through all of that, also impart on your community these growth lessons? Or just talk more about as you look ahead, what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, completely. I think that's the main goal, right? And like bringing personal growth into the entertainment. But we've always, initially, we were actually using that. Like we're sharing that when we initially started the brand Finalbosu, it's funny because we had this idea to turn like Elon Musk, Gary Vee, and all these entrepreneurs into NBA like basketball cards. We're like, why are they not from entrepreneurs, like these collectibles that you can have? And but then we want to see them as final bosses, as the ultimate villain, like Elon Musk standing on his Tesla robot on Mars and he made it. Gary Vee that bought the jets and he's fighting, and you have to fight him and the jets. Like that will be so dope. And then while you fight them, they're gonna throw all their lessons to you, and you're learning from them while you're fighting in this video game. And then like the fourth founder of Finalbosu is called NFTs or Bust. John, he's the founder of Grow Your Base, a meta-venture studio, Slingshot DAO. And he owned a lot of land in Sandbox. And yeah, when we got started, we're like, oh, let's build this game there called the Dojo. And every level you have to beat a different final boss, right? And and then Sandbox crashed and everything went to hell.
That's a cool concept. I like that, because a lot of those guys do awesome, broadcast their end game goal, right? The Gary Vee one makes me laugh. I'm a Bills fan. I'm in Buffalo, so I hate the Jets, but I really hope Gary Vee gets to buy the Jets someday. I'm actually pulling for him on that one. I love when somebody has that like true North Star goal. Everything I'm doing is to buy the Jets. Like I just think it's fascinating, but it's awesome at the same time. Yeah, that's a cool concept.
Yeah, that was like our whole thing first, and then we're like, okay, it's gonna come in legal problems, etc. And so we re-brainstormed the concept, and then we actually came then on the conclusion, let's turn our community into bosses, in Finalbosus, and hand draw anime characters based on their uploaded photos. So that's also what my PFP is. It's an actual hand drawn character based on me by my brother, and we've hand drawn about 140, 150 people so far. Luca just got uploaded as well, so that's actually the first collection. And then from there, we're like, okay, how do we, make these characters famous? And so then we started building a whole universe around them, and then now we have all these characters. I guess back then it was very much pushing on, we are a personal growth brand. We let go of it because I feel that when testing that out a lot, it's a boring image almost. And if we want to reach sort of the masses, I think it should be very subtle. And so that's why, like in Finalbosu, there's basically the growth path that people have on the arm. It's like a tattoo, a map. And every time you learn or you grow, these nodes are closing. And then when it reaches the top and you close them all, it summons a final boss, and these final bosses are very dangerous. They've never been defeated. And so we don't know how to defeat them either, right? We got these weapons in the form of suitcases, but we still don't know how to fight them. And so the question becomes, are you going to grow, or are you going to live within your means for the rest of your life? This is the ultimate version of against all odds, right? And so rather than saying we're this personal growth brand, this is a story of against all odds. And I guess when somebody would watch it on a show or on content pieces, I want them to feel against all odds. If they buy an NFT, I want them to feel against all odds. If this little girl in a couple of years from now is standing in the toy line and she picks up her characters, Bull and Bear, whether two of her female characters, I want her to feel against all odds. I want her to feel inspired and go, I want to take action now. And so I guess it's more of a brand feeling in the end of the day, an inspiration of against all odds. But who knows? One day, Finalbosu becomes this mega corporation, successful IP. We'll do another IP with a different storyline. Who knows?
I gotta say, I can't think of too many other brands anywhere that care that much about my long-term outcomes as a person, right? Because there's a lot of times like you're always trying to serve a customer, right? If you're trying, anyone who's building something real, at least you're trying to serve a customer. You hope that they achieve this. You hope that they make some money on your product. They hope that they have fun and they enjoy it, etc. But your ultimate outcome is you hope that I grow into being a better person as a part of owning your NFT and participating in your community. And I think that's fucking awesome. I don't think I've heard that from anybody else. So you continue to come through as a very unique person, team, project, etc. Yeah, I'm impressed, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you wish on others what you wish upon yourself. And I think against all odds, it's just such a big meaning to my life. And I think I have friends who are always waiting on this perfect opportunity to never take action on it, and just living not the life so I always see, especially because of the sales that I've done in the past, like a better version for other people. Even, I was talking with my mom the other day, and I'm trying to get her to work out more because she's getting of age and find it important. And in my mind, she's this fitness woman already, and so I'm trying to sell her into that idea. They want to have some type of purpose, and do good in a way.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. I can't think of a better purpose for a project than to make people live better lives and make people grow and be better people, and to do it in this fun, artistic way that you're going about it. So cool stuff, man. EJR, I can't say we've come across something like that quite yet, huh?
No, I knew that this was going to be special. And with some of I really do appreciate you getting I don't want to push for you to get personal. You've gotten personal openly. I think that's really important. But now that you speak and you say some of these things, this brand is a direct extension of yourself and your brothers, right? It is your heart, your soul, it's your experiences, and the way you say you look at your mom like a fitness person, and the way you look at people and things in them that they probably don't see in themselves. Now I can see why things were done the way that they were done, flawlessly, and it makes a lot of sense. So I really appreciate you getting so real with us, because despite the market being dog shit, this is a beautiful project, and it's gonna blow the fucking doors off everything else. I don't even know what's coming, but I know it is. I supported it. I think you remember you posted, and I didn't say anything bad because I wasn't going to do that. It's not, but there was only one person I knew that had whitelist, and then you DM'd me, and we're totally cool about it. And I instantly resonated with you, and I thought it was a really just genuine thing to be. And I've been a supporter of you, not just the project, ever since. And we speak often now. I'm a huge fan, which I'm not a huge fan of many people in this space. So I hope you take that as a compliment, because it's
totally. It means a lot, like 100%. And I actually appreciated our interaction as well. And you've even been connecting a lot with Adam Hollander as well. Like, it's been really good. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And once we'll be able to help you once OpenSea gets abstract, their chief marketing officer now. Congrats. That's what it's about, man. It's about pushing through, fighting against all odds, building your network, and just delivering in this space and delivering value. You guys are doing it, and I can't wait to see what comes next. I'm so fucking excited for reveal. I hope you made sure I got rares.
Gaming the system. I am up there. I can't promise anything. You have to maybe.
Myself.
I don't know how the dev side works, so I'm looking at Scott for that. But I wanted to say one more thing, and it's really a team effort, right? Like that's also when you texted and you're like, that you jump this fast on this pace. It's really because of the team. Because in the end of the day, I feel that this is my job, literally part of my job description. But it's also what I feel like I'm good at and I want to get better at. And that's talking personal. I grew up with these two brothers, and when we were young, we had a bit of an age difference, and so they were a bit older than me, and I've always looked up to them as, damn, these two have such a skills. They've always been good in design. They were always creating homemade video, and this is like back in the days when there was no internet, right? So we're videotaping and taping over the last tape to be able to edit. And I was always amazed by them. And then when I was 18 and I moved to Spain and soul searching, I always felt, my two older brothers are so skillful, and I didn't have these skills until I actually built a marketing agency and done like thousands of sales calls myself and built a good life for myself here. And then we came back together and it all clicked. It was like, oh wow, it's like full circle, right? It's these two brothers again creating their next thing. But this time I'm here and I've developed all these skill sets to be able to communicate, to connect with people. I think one of my strengths is I'm just very good in pushing through fear and maximizing things, right? And it's funny because I never realized that. I always thought I was the person without the skills, but now I realize actually I'm able to do this because I didn't have those skills. And it's interesting how full circle we're here today.
You're the guy that connects the dots, and that's a very important role. And I know it because I'm that guy too. So the guy that connects the dots is fucking more important than anybody else. And thank God your brothers have you, because no matter how successful they were, the three of you together put this together and you pushed it through.
Yeah, right on. It's so lucky to get to do that with your brothers too. I got three boys, and I hope that they get an opportunity to do something like this. It's just got to be such a cool way to work. Yeah, congrats on the success so far. Thank you for sharing your story. And yeah, I'd say you ask your investor that came to visit you if he was bullish at the end of your conversations. If you ask me, I'm way more bullish now on you, on your team, on the project. I'm so excited to see what comes next too, and so appreciative for you to come here and take the time with us here today.
Appreciate
EJR, you take us home, man. We're at the top of the hour here.
No, it's been incredible, and I'm great to see her. I've been looking at the data the whole time, and I haven't seen something so consistent. The only little fluctuations are people that are buying and selling for little profits, which you can't do anything about. That there is literally no dips, even though other things are dipping today. People are accumulating a ton. I'm a data guy too, and I'm just excited for next steps. So I got to get myself onboarded. I'll do that today, and I'm looking forward to getting my one-on-ones.
I appreciate you guys. Let's
just keep sneaking in there.
You'll hear me from where you live. I'm in Florida in the U.S. You'll hear me screaming.
All the way to here. Let's do another one, guys, in a little while.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, once you get through the next couple steps.
Yeah, get your brothers on with us, too.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime, man.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
And to the rest of you out there watching and listening, no show this Thursday. We're usually on every Tuesday and Thursday, but we're off on Thursday. We'll be back next Tuesday with the Euler from Z-Verse game. That'll be our next show. And then we got Nick's coming back for a redo the Thursday after that. So stay tuned. Follow us on X. We got all kinds of good content coming for you, and all real builders. We're trying to find all of the, not that there's too many Bosu Kevs out there. You're definitely a unique one. We're trying to find all of the people out there who really do care about the space, care about what they're building, are trying to bring something meaningful, and we're gonna find them. We're gonna share them with you. So stick with us. All right, that's our show. Thank you, everyone.
See you later, guys.